Good evening. I'm Ron Kirkland, and I'd like to be your next congressman. Tonight, I hope to convince you that you need to support me and you need to vote for me. Some people would think my last name is an asset in the political campaign. Others have come to me and said it might just be a liability, so I'd like to have your help. I'm thinking about changing my name legally to Scott Brown. Might work. I'm really proud that we've got good people running on the Republican side for public office. That's just wonderful, because all the Democrats can provide for us is a liberal career politician who's had to loan his own campaign $250,000 already. And I'm glad we have a primary. I think it's wonderful we have a Republican primary. But I do take issue, with all due respect, to my good friends who are running a competitor's campaign. We don't need to select our nominee with a small group of people here locally or a small group of people in Washington. Because, friends, this is the people's seat, just like in Massachusetts. It needs to be selected by the people. So who am I? Who is Ron Kirkland? I'm a local boy. I've spent most of my life in the 8th Congressional District. I am pro-gun. I'm pro-life. My Uncle Turner Kirkland founded Dixie Gun Works up in Union City years ago. I am pro-traditional marriage. I'd like to introduce my wife, Carol, my lovely wife, Carol. She'd stand. My son, James, his wife, Missy. I love you, honey. We've been married 38 wonderful years, and 38 out of 41 is not bad, folks. I believe in smaller government. I believe in a balanced federal budget. I believe in cutting taxes. I believe in cutting spending. I'm a conservative Republican, and I've always been that. We've got to realize, though, that people are angry at Washington, and not just at Democrats, but Republicans too, because Washington hasn't been listening to us. I've spent 25 years at the Jackson Clinic, listening to patients and trying to help them solve their problems. And if you send me to Washington, I will continue to listen to you and try to help you solve your problems as well. So what can we offer as Republicans? How can we move forward? What solutions do we have to problems? Well, I think we need an extreme makeover in Washington, D.C. Extreme makeover in Washington, D.C. For example, this past year, our federal government spent almost $2 for every dollar that it took in. That is not sustainable. It doesn't take a master's in business administration to understand the problem, but it might be helpful to have a master's in business administration, as I do, to help craft a solution to that problem. And did you listen to the State of the Union address? Could you believe what you heard? No. What I heard President Obama say is this: ask not what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for you. That's not the American way, folks. That is not the American way. And what about former Saturday night comedian and current Democrat Senator Al Franken, seated right behind the Joint Chiefs of Staff? The Democrats may think that's a joke, but it was not funny to me. Because when I spent a year in Vietnam as a sergeant, serving this country, I found out that you don't want a buffoon like Al Franken leading the military. And what about our president lashing out at our Supreme Court in front of them at the address? What a disgrace to our constitutionally guaranteed separation of powers. We need to give President Obama a gift. We need to give him a one-term presidency like he's asking for. Because I fundamentally agree with Ronald Reagan when he said that government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem. And folks, 2010 may be the last chance that we have to save our country. It's important that we do it right. I think it's important that we send a conservative Republican congressman to Washington that has life experiences so that he can go to work as soon as he hits the ground. We need real jobs. We need to incentivize small business, free enterprise, and creativity. We need to fix Medicare. We need to fix Social Security. We've got a big job ahead of us. We don't need government-run health care. I have have spent 7 years in the leadership of the American Medical Group Association, and I've learned some things that can be very helpful in terms of how to run our healthcare system in the future. The government can only save money by rationing healthcare to older sick people, by pulling the plug on us Americans when we're most vulnerable. So let me give you the solution to the healthcare crisis, okay? Save Grandma, unplug Pelosi. And let's remember that government which is closest to the people works best. Let's have a government that fears the people, because that leads to freedom and liberty. Let's don't have our people fearing their government, because that leads to tyranny. And folks, that's where we're headed. But the bottom line is this. I love this country, but I'm more concerned about our country than I've ever been in my life. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to recognize that fact, and to recognize that we need to send someone to Congress who can get the job done. I have spent a career trying to help patients, trying to heal patients. And now I'd like to go to Washington to try to heal our country. Thank you for your vote of support.